Hello, this is Katie, and this is number 2 in the Halloween card series. What I have is my cardstock that I'm going to start with, so I'm going to cut this in half to make the card base. And then I actually have 6, which I may only need 5 of, but I made 6 just in case, strips of regular printer paper. I'm going to be masking off some area, and this is really good for that. So I'll use some removable adhesive. I have a Tombow Mono removable, so it just comes off really easily. It's just for temporary masking, really is my main use for it. And we're going to make this a top opening card, so I'm going to cut it in half at 4 1/4 lengthwise. And I'll set aside the other one for another card another time. And then I want to score it at 5 1/2. Sometimes I have a little skip in my scoreboard, which is entirely my fault, and I end up completely drawing a line at an angle and I just ruin the whole cardstock. So I end up using it for scraps, but it just makes me sad because I love my cardstock. So I'm going to fold it, and then I'll use my Martha Stewart bone folder to flatten that crease. Okay, and then usually, just as a tip, even if you measure properly, this can happen just because of the scoring bend and stuff like that. You might get one end that's a little longer than the other. I just usually make that the front so you can't see it. So the shorter end is going to be in the back. It's usually just about 1 millimeter or so, honestly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask off every other one. So what I'm going to do actually is going to make sure which sticky side is which. Put some of that removable adhesive on there. And then actually for this top one, I'm going to mask that off, but I'm going to pull this one off because I do want ink on the top, but I want to make sure I measure the other ones properly as well. So I'll put some more removable adhesive and just line that one up exact. Then I'll go ahead and take this one off. Okay. And what I'm doing is alternating so that I get the width properly. I want to make sure they're the same width. So I'll set that one down. Then I'll mask or put down the one below it, which is going to end up staying there. And then I'll take off the middle one and put it down to measure my next one, if that makes sense. So I'll put this one down here and then take off that one. It's getting curly. And we'll do this. Put the next one down. And then remove that one because that's where our ink is going to go. And it looks like, and I do only have 6 of these, I'm just going to make a note with my fingernail as to where I want that one to start. Or just kind of eyeball it, honestly. It's just the rest of the card. So we'll mask that off. So, might be sticking to my surface here. So we've got, let me clear this off a little bit. I got some poster board to cover my desk for the background, so hopefully this white is a little better than my cutting mat, that black cutting mat in the last video. And I've looked at, on simonsastamp.com, at that craft sheet stuff that people use. It deflects everything. You can put glue, embossing stuff, you just wipe it when you're done and it's perfect. So I get that it's pricey, but for a 3 by 3 foot piece, which is the minimum you have to purchase, is like $90. And I do not have that kind of money to spend. I'd rather spend it on stamps. So this poster board will have to do. Hopefully the white is okay and not too glary or anything like that up here. So let's hope so. I'm going to get a piece of printer paper to put under this, because what I'm going to do to get ink on here, instead of running running it like an ink pad over it, which you could do as well. It's just too saturated for me. I'm going to use the Distress ink in Spiced Marmalade. Maybe that will zoom in. There we go. Spiced Marmalade. And I just got a bunch of the little ones because it was a really good deal, and I had Groupons for Ben Franklin up here in Washington. And I actually had a lot of friends get me them for my birthday because it was a really good deal. So I ended up with a lot of money to spend there. So I ended up with a couple sets of these little guys, which is perfect for the little round thing, which is what I also got there. Sure, there's a word for this that's escaping me at the moment. I'm going to use the distressing ones instead of using an ink pad and just swiping across, which you could do if you don't have something like this. It's fine. Just expect a lot deeper and more saturated paper. This is just going to be a lot lighter. You could also color it. I can't really think of other ways at the moment, so we'll go ahead and do this. So just get it good and inked up, and then I'm going to end up doing the whole thing anyway. And this kind of looks a little cooler too because you have the edging that you're doing as well. So you'll see that darker line on the edge. But it also is a little bit faded and blended as well. So I just kind of keep re-inking as I go. If you wanted to do this, you could also give it a kind of a darker to a lighter effect, just to go easier on the smearing. I'm going to call it smearing. The distressing, the blending, I don't know. Ink blending tool, that is what this is called, by the way. They were originally rectangle, but the square ones work a lot better, and everybody kind of picked up on that, so now everybody just uses the square ones. Whoops. And you'll notice when you use these, you might get little, it's like lint or fuzzies from the air. You might get some of them in on the ink, but they just brush away. They don't rub themselves into the paper or anything like that. And my little paper is coming up on the edge here, so I want to make sure I don't mess up what I'm doing, so I'm just going to hold it down. Okay, I think that is good for what I want. My favorite part is pulling away the masks, so this should be fun. Let's hope that it didn't smear. Pretty crisp lines there. We'll get rid of the backing paper so this looks a little cooler. All right. So a very bright orange. Pretty good technique, very crisp lines. Actually looked a lot better than I thought it would, so that's good. Then I'm going to use, just because I want some bold black, I'm going to use the VersaFine Onyx Black for my images. And for the one in the middle, I'm going to use the You're a Wicked Good Friend. This is from the, I think it's called Spooky Sentiments, from My Favorite Things. So we're going to put that one in the middle. And then use some little guys like the skull. This one has a skull in there. We'll use that one too. I got my big block for the sentiment. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was, but that's okay. So then we'll ink this up. And this, you really only need a few good presses on this. It's a very, very inky pad, which is fine because we want it to be inky. And then this is going to go in the middle. Looks good. It's pretty crisp. Okay, I will clean that guy later. And this one, it kind of has a, the VersaFine ink has kind of a swingy door. I don't have a lid like that on any other ink. So you actually fold it behind and then it can just kind of stand and it won't wobble so much, which is good. Because when you're trying to ink up a stamp and you end up picking up the stamp pad with it because it is sticking so much, it's a little difficult to work with. So we're just going to add some of these guys around. That should be fine. I'm gonna get, oh no! Why won't he stamp? Let's try this again. Hopefully we can get a better... Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit here. Sorry for the wiggling. So you can see this a little better. I'm gonna pull him closer to me, sorry. I'm gonna try and ink him better. Okay, it's not too bad. He looks a little schmooshed, but hopefully that's okay. All right. We can put a couple of these around. Make sure I stamp him better this time. Okay, that's a lot better. So I think I filled in some of his teeth. This is a better stamp of him. Trying to get that to focus. There we go. Oh well, he's smushy. And then from the Mama Elephant, I keep these in the Avriel sleeves, by the way, and I keep them in kind of like a plastic shoebox, which is just handy. And I have little paper dividers, so I know which brand is which section and stuff like that, so makes it easy. And then I have the bat. And remember that if you are using the VersaFine ink, that it needs some time to dry. This is the ink that you don't want to color in with Copics or color around because it will bleed. So you just want to be aware of that. I'm going to grab the little spider as well. Ink him up. And put a couple of those. Maybe he can be standing right on that. Okay. Trying to think of other, actually here. We'll do one with the word boo, which is on the My Favorite Things Spooky Sentiments stamp set. And that's this one right down here, just that little guy. So I'll ink that up. Put one sideways. Put one here. Okay. All right. So then, to add on to it, I have some black and orange, maybe even some of the yellows. It just depends on how it looks. Little enamel dots. I only have one size of the black, so I thought maybe we could use some orange or yellows. So you just kind of decide where you want those. I think I'll try the orange ones. All right, and I feel like we might need another bat in the middle. So I'm going to ink up another guy and put him right in the middle just to kind of fill in that space. Looked kind of empty. So we've got some oranges. I can stick some little yellows. It's really hard to grab these. I should be using tweezers. But put some of those up there. So it almost looks like little candy dots, actually, which is perfect for Halloween. All right, so that is the card. We did some distress blending and just kind of, it was almost a one-layer card until we added the enamel dots. So feel free to add some bling, or if you have Wink of Stella pen, you can add those as well, or add that to make something shiny. And we'll see you next time. Come back for card number 3. Thank you. Bye.